Ladies and gentlemen, Gene DiNapoli.
Hello there, everybody out there in social media land. Well, guess what? It's been 2 years since we've been here, and my name is still Gene DiNapoli. I hope everybody's doing well. It's been a long time since we've spoken, and we got a bunch of stuff to talk about tonight, but want to let you know we do miss our weekly shows. We're thinking about kicking the idea around about doing them again. Tonight's a special edition, but one of the reasons we haven't done the show is that I went and did something a year and a half ago that I haven't done in 38 years, and that was get a regular 9-to-5 job. Yes, my wife, Paulette, finally got it through my thick skull that I needed something called pension and benefits. So 18 months ago, I went and got a job for pension and benefits. It's a great job. I love it. I work with great people. But now I'm on TikTok every day and Instagram and Facebook Live. Everything's under my name, Gene DiNapoli. So if you want to hear my cross Bronx ranting at 8:15 in the morning when I rant and I rave about things that are on my mind, join me on TikTok and Instagram under Gene DiNapoli. Some of you might notice I'm not wearing glasses. I don't think I've worn them since the last time we saw each other because I got the cataract surgery and I get to see so many great things now, beautiful colors and vibrant letters. And one thing I got to see just last week is my new great nephew, Theodore, which I'm going to call him Teddy. Since we've been together last, there's been a couple of babies in the family, Valentina, Bruno, and now Theodore, and we can't wait to share his life and their lives with them. But right now we want to get to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I think we did 58 shows when I was doing this weekly during the pandemic. And we had said we were going to visit some of our guests again. We never got to do that. Our first guest we were going to revisit was going to be the late, great Bobby Rydell. Bobby left us a little while ago, and everybody knows the man's talent. Our returning guest tonight could be my youngest guest, could be the most in-demand, non-hit making guest, which that's going to change soon. But I'll tell you what he does have. He does have a loyal following, a fanatical, wonderful following that opportunes people like me, promoters like me, to present him in different venues. Over the past 2 years, we have done probably, I think, 12 or 15 shows together, along with his manager, Joe Marioni, who's sat and Joe gave me, he had to vet me. I remember when I met Joe in the hotel over breakfast, Joe said, I'm protecting this person. Why do you want to do this? And I said, because all my life I've been an old soul and I gravitate to old souls. And our guest tonight is a young old soul. And we're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on some up and coming shows he has, touch on a career that in two and a half years has blossomed. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my first returning guest to Reminiscing with Gene DiNapoli, which was going to be renamed the Gene DiNapoli Podcast. Say hello to everybody's favorite performer, Chris Ruggiero, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Gene.
Hey, Chris.
What's going on?
Salute.
Salute. I have my wine here.
You got one. All right. I have a different kind of wine. It's unsweetened iced tea.
That's too strong for me. Oh, it's just unsweetened iced tea. That's strong, too.
I'm true. Do you know you were my, not my last guest, but do you know when we did the interview, it was September 13th?
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, here we are just a week later. It's like everything falls into place.
It sure does. Well, I'm glad that you had me back on, and thank you for thinking of me as your first guest for your coming back.
Of course, of course. You know, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, a twofold reason. as everybody out there knows, I'm close to your grandparents.
Yes, they're actually here right now. We just had dinner together.
Are they really? Send them my love. They're good people. When I played the Empire City Casino one night in Yonkers, your grandmother approached me to help you get to the next step. And I was very busy. And I got to tell you something. You are a good mistake that I made. Because had I taken you the reins of your career over, you would have never gotten to the point you are today. So I want to say some things in life we regret, and some things in life we say it was better off this way.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that you believed in me enough to have me on a lot of your shows. We did a lot of shows together last year, and we have a lot of shows together this year and even going into next year. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you believing in me in the very beginning when maybe not too many people did.
Well, I think people did, but Chris, you got to understand something. Your grandfather and your grandmother, more so, are very well respected, and your grandmother is more feared than your grandfather. So when people were approached to get involved with you, they maybe didn't have your best interest in mind, and then said, oh boy, if I do this with Chris, I'm going to have a problem with his grandmother. So a lot of people might have backed off on you. But I'll tell you who believed in you. Larry Chance, Bobby Rydell.
Yes.
The Duprees, who you appeared on PBS.
I'm so lucky because so many people from the very beginning believed in me. I can't say that I ever had a bad experience with someone backstage at a show. Everybody was so loving and kind of took me under their wing, and especially Larry Chance, because Larry and my grandfather grew up together singing on the street corners, so they knew each other for so long. And Bobby Rydell, I met at a lot of my shows, and over the last couple of years, we became so close. And he was really one of my all-time favorites, and he was so good to me.
He's good to a lot of people.
He was.
Yeah. So, Chris, I want to get a couple of questions out, and then we're going to go into upcoming events. For some, you're how old now? 23?
I'm 25 now.
25. You started when we started. You were 23.
I'm 23 at heart, though.
Yeah. Well.
So that's all that counts.
I'm 23 in maturity, but in the past 2 years, you have done more shows, touring wise, than established performers. You got 25 shows between now and the end of the year. You log a lot of miles.
I do. Delta loves us.
Delta loves you.
Yes.
Does it weigh you down physically, mentally, and I don't want to say spiritually, but does it weigh you down physically?
Well, like I always say, my family is the most important thing to me. So, of course, it's tough to be away from them on the weekends to do the shows, but there's so much to look forward to on the other side of it, right? I mean, I just can't wait to get off the plane and get to the theater and then see everyone there and make them smile and make new memories with them and bring back old memories. So for me, that's what I really look forward to. So it makes up for the plane rides and the delays and whatnot. And even I've met quite a few really cool people now at the Delta Sky Lounge. Last week, we were on the plane with Billy Joel's entire band. Mike Del Giudice was on the plane. Mark Rivera was on the plane.
Wow.
And we were talking because we were sitting right across from each other. And so you never know who you're going to meet when you travel. So traveling really is great. No, I don't love being away from my family, but it's okay because I get to see them all week.
So that's the family part of it.
Mm-hmm.
When you and I'm, besides a promoter, I of too was an entertainer, did a lot of traveling. When you go to that hotel room at the end of the night, you're by yourself. Do you immediately watch TV, read a book, or do you sit and say to yourself, I just played in front of 500 people and now I'm alone? Does it
usually I'm still so awake and I have so much energy because the adrenaline of just coming off stage. So I have to come down a little bit. But I just I go on Facebook and I read all the compliments and things from that night's show and previous shows, and I answer people until I fall asleep. But I always go to bed early, right after the show is over. When I get tired, I go to sleep. I don't go out partying and drinking. That's not my thing. Even when the band goes out to dinner after the show, 11 o'clock at night, I go back to the room and I go to sleep because the next morning I get up to get on the plane and go to the next place. So I want to make sure I'm always well rested and that my throat is always as good as it can be. And you need sleep for that.
Right. So let me ask you this: in one sentence, give me your favorite pre-show ritual and your favorite post-show ritual.
So before every show, I'll spend about 15 or 20 minutes backstage vocalizing, doing some vocal warm-ups that my vocal coach has me do. And that's what I do for 20 minutes to warm up, because it really makes a big, big difference when I come out on stage. It's like you wouldn't start a car in the winter and then all of a sudden go on the highway. You got to warm up. And then after the show, I vocalize a little bit too before I go into the lobby to see everyone and to bring my voice back down to my speaking voice. And it seems to really, it helps me.
Okay. That's pre-show.
That's the after show is vocalizing too.
Oh,
Just for a couple minutes. I take a straw and I bubble in water and I hum into the straw in the water. And that helps me come back down.
That's what opera singers do. So you must have a pretty good vocal coach.
I think I do.
Yeah. Everybody that follows you on social media sees pictures of you with so many celebrities, but there's been a few pictures of you with some of Frank Sinatra's entourage. First of all, his manager, his security detail, which I had the pleasure of meeting a couple of the guys.
Yes.
Of course, one of his arrangers. And you say you're a big Sinatra fan. You say you're a big Elvis fan, but yet you don't do a Sinatra song in your show. And you think for me, you would do an Elvis song.
I know. Well, first of all, I was waiting for you to do the Elvis song. But, I think Charlie Colello is actually the first one who kind of drew the parallel between Frank Sinatra and I. And that's really all it is a parallel. Because like you said, I don't sing Sinatra songs in my show. As much as I love him, I, of course, learned a lot by watching him. And that's maybe what drew Charlie to that conclusion that I remind him of Sinatra in a way, is because the way I approach a song and try and tell the story through a song. And I think that's what, drew Sinatra's whole crew toward me, is because, again, I don't sing his music, but because of the way I approach the song and the lyric and the storytelling on stage. And I'm not comparing myself to Sinatra at all. And I'm not trying to even be a Sinatra, because there will never be another Frank Sinatra, of course. But I think maybe in that way, the storytelling, and that's the kind of the parallel that we share. And I guess that's what drew his crew to me. And they are the greatest guys ever. We have so much fun. And you even got to meet them at the show in New Jersey. And they're just a blast. They're full of great stories. And that's what I really love and appreciate so much, are good stories.
The stories can actually fuel a performance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that you're a sponge. Do you plan on doing a Sinatra song?
You know what? I don't really know.
Okay.
Would I do one someday in the show? Maybe, or maybe we can work on, because I do some medleys with different songs woven into each other. Maybe a Sinatra tune would be good to weave into something at some point. But lately, we've kind of been turning the dial forward a little bit in the show. So where I used to sing maybe just mainly 50s tunes when I first started, now it's more 60s, 70s, even an 80s tune in there. But I really hate to say like a year, because it really doesn't matter what year a song came out. All that matters is that it has a great lyric, a timeless melody, and it tells a story. And so that's really how we choose songs now. It just fit that criteria. It really doesn't matter what year it came out.
Gotcha. And speaking of new songs, you're going to be debuting a lot of new songs at your show in Long Island this Saturday at 2:00, September 28th, at the Bayway Arts Center in East Islip.
Yes.
And I believe we got something that we want to show our audience.
Okay, let's-
Anthony, hit it with the commercial.
Chris Ruggiero's new show, Teenage Dreams and Magic Moments, is coming to East Islip for one show only, September 28th. Breathing new life into the timeless hits of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Your favorites as you've never heard them before in this all-new show, September 28th at Bayway Arts Center. For tickets, call 631-581-2700 or visit baywayartscenter.com.
Now, I hope it's not an all-new show because there are some songs you do that people come to hear you sing. Even though you didn't have a hit with them, you threw a spin on them. And I'm going to give you a couple of song titles. Bet You by Golly Wow.
Yes.
All right, probably one of the greatest love songs ever created.
One of my favorites for sure.
Yep. I personally love the way you do 1, 2, 3. You open the show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's just so great.
It's
And
good.
then the Bee Gees song you do.
Oh, Run to Me.
Run to Me?
Thank you.
Man, oh man, you sing that like a 50-year-old who's been up and down and up and down. So much emotion.
Thank you.
I think what gravitates people to you is the personal connection. You know, there's something about somebody singing a song because they like it, but then there's something about somebody singing a song because they connect with it.
Sure.
And I think you connect with a lot of songs, including a song that you do each and every show. We're going to show this clip. Anthony, please, one of the greatest songs ever created. Stand By Me.
It's a good tune.
A good tune?
You know,
Number one twice.
and I say this in every one of my shows, that song, elements of the song were written over 100 years ago now.
Oh, yeah.
The song was actually written before songs were ever meant to be recorded and bought and sold. So that's really why I like it too, because it really stood the test of time. It's still here, and I think everybody in the world knows that song.
And sometimes we need that to get us through some hard times.
Certainly the message in that song, definitely, it's an uplifting tune.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to leave everybody feeling at the end of the show is.
Well, they do. They do. Some people come to 3 and 4 shows in a month because you do. But I tell you a quick little story about that song. Of course, it was made famous by the late, great Benny King.
Yes.
And when I used to play B.B. Kings in the city, I was in the lounge, and in the main room would be the stars, the big stars. And one night, my mother came to see the show, and Benny King was backstage, and she looked at Benny King and said, "And what do you do for a living?"
She didn't know it was him.
She didn't know it was him.
Wow.
So, you know.
Oh boy, I wish I could have met him.
Yeah. Well, you've met a lot of people, which we're going to get to. But tell me and tell the audience, being that you've been on the road for up to 3 years now, what has changed in your show, the beginning, the middle, the end, the way you present songs? Have you done a song a different way throughout these past 3 years? Have you taken a slow song, made it fast song, made it slow? Have you done anything crazy?
Well, you know what we really love to do in the show is take a song and flip it totally upside down, strip the song down, and change it and make it maybe. For instance, when I went into the studio in Vegas to work with Clint Holmes before I was recording my album, and you know Clint,
Name dropper.
I know, and really Clint is the greatest song interpreter alive today, and there's really no question about it. And we were working on the song "Put Your Head on My Shoulder." That was the first song, and Clint said, "Forget about the version you already know, because everybody knows that version and loves it. But sing it how you would sing it if you didn't know the version already, and pretend that the person was right next to you and you were telling them to put their head on your shoulder. And immediately, the song was not the same at all. I sang it my way. Now, of course, it's still recognizable, so we don't like to take songs too much out to offend anybody. And we thought maybe in the beginning that some people would get offended and say, just sing it, the old-fashioned way, the way it was recorded. But to our surprise, we never got one complaint about us changing the song. And I guess it's because we still kept it with a classic feel and just told my own story through the song. So yes, the show is full of songs like that. I mean, we did that with Run to Me, Betcha by Golly Wow, My Cherie Amour, One, and the entire album that I made, I Am Chris Ruggiero. And we do that with probably 80% of the songs on the show. And how the show has changed over the years is, like I said before, now it doesn't really have that timestamp on it of the 1950s or early 60s. Now it's just great songs throughout the last 50 or 60 years, and they just have to tell a great story.
Right, of course. I think the people that would be offended should stay home and listen to Paul Anka on CD or video do the song. When they come see you, they want to see something fresh and new, So I think what you're doing is being very well accepted.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really humbled by it. I'm very happy it's taken that way, and it's great. I gotta say, I'm so lucky to have such great people come to my shows all the time, and it's really a dream come true for me. I couldn't be any more thankful and grateful for everyone. I mean, we have one fan who came to 85 shows now. Could you 85? And when I first met her, Kathy, she said that her goal was to see me 100 times. She didn't know if she was going to be able to do it, but now she's at 85, so she's definitely going to hit 100 this year.
Which Kathy? Stuba?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. I want to make Kathy a deal right now. And you're my witness.
Okay.
And you know I'm a man of my word.
Yes.
Kathy, I want to be the promoter of the show that you make 100 and you are getting comped that night, you and a guest are my guest at your 100th Chris Ruggiero show.
That's beautiful, Gene. Thank you for that.
From Pennsylvania, Kathy Stuba, man, oh man. Sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I was going to say, and so many others as well have been coming to multiple shows, and it makes me know that I guess we're doing something right in some way, and really reaching our goal, my goal, which is making people feel something inside. I want to make them feel something that maybe they haven't felt in a long time, which is maybe take them back to their first kiss or their wedding. It's really great when you're on stage, and you know this because you're a singer as well. When you look out into the audience and you see that twinkle in their eye, right? Know you did something special. And for me, that's what it's all about. I'm certainly not the greatest singer in the world or greatest musician, but for me, I use that as a path to get through and reach and connect to people and make their day.
Well, I know that I was talking to Joe, and he told me that you have 4 shows in the same vicinity. And the woman said, "I'll see you at the show." He said, "Which one?" She said, "All 4." That's crazy.
I know. It's beautiful.
And 2 of those shows are going to be this weekend. As we said, Saturday, 2 o'clock, September 28th, the Bayway Arts Center in East Islip. Go to baywayartscenter.com to get your tickets. And then Sunday, you're going to be in Pittsfield, Massachusetts.
First time,
because of me.
Because of you.
At the Colonial Theater in the Berkshire Mountains. That's a great old theater.
I can't wait to see it.
A lot of history. The acoustics are great. And those tickets can be gotten on your website, which is chrisruggierosings.com.
Exactly. There or Facebook, and they can see the link on Facebook. And
If anybody goes to either one of those shows, I'd like you to let me know what you think about the theaters and if we should do more there. So that's the Chris Ruggiero Teenage Dreams and Magic Moments show with some twists.
With some twists.
With some twists. But speaking of feeling good, you are doing something which I'm very proud to be a part of, is we don't only present you in the spring and summer, we present you in the winter with the Chris Ruggiero Christmas show, Christmas with Chris Ruggiero.
Yes.
And we have, I think, 4 or 5 dates on the books now. We had 3, 4 last year. So why don't we give our viewers the commercial for the Christmas shows? Then we'll talk about that.
Let's check.
Just hear those lips.
Chris Ruggiero's Christmas show captures all the magic of the most wonderful time of the year.
It's the most.
And on December 8th, he'll be performing his Christmas Spectacular at Sellersville Theater, singing all the songs you know and love.
Nuts roasting on an open fire.
For tickets, visit ChrisRuggieroSings.com or call 215-257-5808.
So Christmas.
Now, all these shows are on your website, but we have 3 that we're doing, 4. But 1 didn't go on sale yet. We have you in Sellersville, Pennsylvania.
For is it my 5th time there now?
That's going to be your 5th time. Well, let's do this. So December 6th, you're at Adelphi University in Garden City, Long Island.
Yes, and that's the classics.
With Emil Stucco and the Classics,
yes,
who will be doing some Christmas songs as well.
Yes.
Then on the 7th, you're going to be at the Queensborough Performing Arts Center, again with Emil Stucco and the Classics. We did that last year together, and I think it worked out well. We gave the people the best.
Blast.
Yeah, it was great. Great. You did the song with Teresa as well.
Oh, yeah. Teresa's, she's really
she's
great
a powerhouse.
Really,
and then Sunday, December 8th, you'll be in Sellersville. And then December 12th, you'll be at the Egg in Albany.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You don't know. Oh, okay.
I forgot about that one, but
it goes on sale next week.
I know about them usually, a month in advance. I remember them, but there's too many sometimes, and I really start to forget because I get so excited and my mind gets all over the place, and I'm working on songs and the show. But I'm looking forward to going to all these great places for the Christmas show. I mean, that's really my favorite show. I grew up loving Christmas. I think like every New York kid who grew up in an Italian household, we really lived for Christmas time. And the fact that I get to go out and do like 15 or 16 Christmas shows is really amazing. And all our favorite Christmas tunes, like Sleigh Ride and Christmas Baby, Please Come Home, and Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Right. Interjected with the non-Christmas songs.
Yeah, we do. It's about 30-40% non-Christmas, and then the rest is Christmas.
Right. So you have 4 CDs out.
Yes.
Right. So give us in chronological order the first. The first was.
So the first CD I ever came out with was Time Was.
Time Was.
By Chris Ruggiero.
And the breakout song of that CD was what? What would you consider your breakout?
Well, Unchained Melody is on that, and Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me. So that seems to be a very popular one in our shows because after I come off stage singing Unchained Melody, people tend to go and take that one home with them.
Right.
So that CD was first, but that was really me singing songs like the record. And that was the part of me that was very new when we first started working together, Joe and I. So I kind of closed that chapter of my life.
Okay.
Moved on to the next CD, which was called I Am Chris Ruggiero. And that was me singing the songs the way I felt I could sing them and telling my own story through them. So, Joe, of course, helped so much with that. And Clint Holmes, if it weren't for the two of them, it never would have happened. And Clint is the one, and Joe, who really taught me how to take a lyric of a song and just make it my own and tell the story through the song that I'm singing. So that's what that whole album is. It's Put Your Head on My Shoulder, Run to Me, Betcha by Golly Wow, One, and all those songs. Then after that, actually Don Daneman and I did a CD together. It was a duet CD, just an EP. It was 4 songs.
And
so
Don Daneman is from one of the biggest 60s groups ever who toured with the Beatles, The Circle.
He's awesome. I love him so much. And And we sang 4 songs on the CD because originally we recorded the song "What's Your Name" in a video to put on Facebook because it was during COVID and we couldn't go out and do shows. So he and I found that we had a tremendous amount of love for doo-wop music. And so we said, you know what? Let's record ourselves singing a song. We'll put it on Facebook. So we did that. It got over 300,000 views, and people started sending us messages from all over the world. You know, can you do another and another and another? So we just figured that we'd come out with a CD of us singing a couple of those songs. So we did that, and we're very happy with it, and it was so much fun. And then after that, I did my Quiet Night CD.
Right, that was the piano.
Yeah. Just me and a piano. Christian Tamber on the keys. He's a really, really, really talented piano player, and we spent a while working on that one. And I really am happy with the way it came out because I discovered that as much as I love working with a big band, it's also really nice to work with just piano. You get to really like spread out and do things that you might not have done with a whole band on stage. So we did that.
You like that?
I do. I really do. And that's why in my show, I always go over to the piano and sing a song or two with just the keys, and I give the band a little break, and I do that. And for me, it's a lot of fun and allows me to stretch out.
Well, I want to give you an early Christmas present, Chris.
What's that?
You are going to be doing a string of shows next year.
Okay.
With just the piano.
Beautiful.
We are already in motion with a few nice, intimate nightclub, performing arts places that it's going to be real intimate, and we're going to present you that way next year.
I can't wait. It's just so much fun, like I said before. But I can't wait for that. Thank you, Gene.
Okay. And then after that?
Then after that was my Christmas album, Christmas with Chris Ruggiero, and that was it. It was really all of my favorite Christmas songs that I grew up with. I mean, I'll Be Home for Christmas. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Sleigh Ride, Christmas Baby, Please Come Home. There's so many good songs on that album. It's hard to pick a favorite because people always ask when they come up to the table after the show. They say, "Which one should I buy?" I don't know. I mean, I don't know which one is my favorite, but I mean, maybe by 1%, maybe it's the Christmas album because again, I just love the Christmas show so much.
You know, all these CDs are available on your website.
Yes.
And you have to be the first performer that I've ever seen. You took all of your stuff and put it on a USB drive along with a bonus CD,
yes,
which is the Don Dynamite CD.
Mm-hmm.
So people that don't have CD players anymore, they can still listen to you in the car via USB.
Yeah. So the USB you can plug in anywhere, your TV, your computer. Yeah. The cars even now have a USB plug-in, so that's really cool. But it surprises me every time how many people still have CD players. I know I do, and I'm never getting rid of my car because I need a CD player in it.
You know, you mentioned after the show, and I want to tell you something, and I know you won't, but don't ever get a swelled head. But there's a reason why Muhammad Ali is the greatest in his field and Elvis Presley is the greatest in his field, because they were the people's. Muhammad Ali was the people's boxer. Elvis was the people's entertainer. You, via social media and via meeting everybody, and I mean everybody, you do not leave until the last person is out of that theater. And I know you're exhausted. You're sweaty like a baseball player, and you just want to go and shower, sit back and eat. And you do not leave that theater until the last person has come up to you. And that's the people's entertainer. And that, along with your performing abilities, makes you an old soul, because today you will never see Bruno Mars, Billy Joel, Taylor Swift. Nobody will meet unless it's for this. Yeah, you can meet Taylor Swift and $350, $500, $600. Now you.
To me, that's my favorite part of the show. When I get to the last song, I can't wait to get off the stage and run down and go see everybody because I love to meet people and I love to hear their story, why they came to the show and what this music means to them. And now we're seeing that a lot of the fans, and I hate to call them fans, they're family. They're bringing their family with them. It's multi-generational. So the grandma's coming with the daughter and the granddaughter.
I've
So,
seen that at the shows myself.
I love that.
I walk you up to the lobby from the stage. I grab you and we walk to the counter. I could feel the clamminess and the sweatiness. And sometimes when I'm walking too slow, you go, come on, Gene, speed up, Gene, speed up. And then we go. And, although it's not my show, I regale watching you with these people because I was there.
Yeah. And you made it happen. Without you, right, I wouldn't have those stages to perform on. So it does take a village, and singers always have to thank guys like you very much because without you, we'd have no stage.
I appreciate that, but with Joe at the steering wheel, it would have happened eventually. Yeah. I'm just glad to be a spoke in the wheel.
Well, thank you for that.
My pleasure. This is a question I don't think I need to ask because I think your face is going to give away the answer. But how does it feel to be on the same stage with some of the people you grew up listening to? Yeah, see that look right there? There's no answer needed.
That's right.
But give us, your grandfather's a singer.
Mm-hmm.
So your grandfather, in a way, is reliving his youth for you as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So when you're on stage with Ride Down and this one and Peter Noon, just last week you were Peter Noon in Tarrytown, your grandfather must be saying, "Look at this." How do you feel? How do you feel knowing that these people are on a first name basis with you?
It just it feels really good. I've worked hard on my craft and my singing over the last couple of years. Joe and I have worked very hard together. Days and weeks and months at a time, especially in the beginning. And to see that it's all paying off and that people enjoy what I'm doing is great. And to stand on the stage with people that I grew up listening to is the greatest feeling in the world, especially getting to know a lot of them and going out to dinners, right? Because I grew up a fan. Fans don't go out to dinner with their favorite singers, That's just not how it works. So it's really great to be able to go out with them and hang out because we're peers, like especially Bobby Rydell. And I've gone out with Bill Medley a couple of times and we have a great time together. And Peter Noon is great. And everybody's been so great. The Duprees have been so great to me. I mean, think just the fact that Tony Testa, said yes to me being on PBS with them was so amazing. I mean, I'll owe him a thank you forever for that.
Well, you're not a fan anymore. You're a colleague.
Thank you.
If you weren't going to be a performer, what was going to be your job of choice?
I always wanted to open a restaurant, but it's really long hours, and I don't know if I could stand and cook because I love to cook.
Yes.
I don't know if I could cook in the kitchen for 12 hours straight on my feet. I don't know. When I was younger, and I really haven't told anyone this other than my family knows, I wanted to be a plastic surgeon because I love working with my hands and building things and same thing, helping people. And so I always wanted to be a plastic surgeon until they told me how much school I had to do.
Right.
And then I didn't want to be a plastic surgeon anymore.
So you like to work with your hands, but you don't want to be a carpenter like Jesus.
No.
You want to be a plastic surgeon.
That's what I wanted to be.
We started playing the same place a few years ago, Bobo's and Somers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we both played the
5 years ago that had to be for me.
What?
That had to be like 5 years ago for me.
It was before the pandemic, so it's definitely 4.
Yeah.
But we see people time and time again, and they say, remember when you and Chris used to do the parking lot? And I go, yeah. Now I'm parking Chris's cars. It's like I'm still working the parking lot, but like a valet parker. Plastic surgeon. Wow, that's something I don't think a lot of your fans knew or expected.
No, they probably didn't.
Speaking about cooking, you did these little vignettes about wine and this. What about the Chris Ruggiero social media cooking platform?
Yeah, well, I do have a bunch of videos up, cooking videos, and people seem to really enjoy that. When I meet people, sometimes that's the first thing they say is that they love my cooking videos, and I really didn't realize that many people watched it. So I guess I have to make more soon whenever I'm not on the road, and I'll fire up the kitchen and start making some more videos.
Well, maybe we should get your hotel rooms with a little efficiency.
We could do that.
So you could start making the bacon and eggs in the morning.
Yes.
I know your parents and your brother.
Yes.
How do they feel when they come to a show and see 200 people waiting online to meet their brother and their son and their grandson? I know when I started singing, the day after I started, I came down from my bedroom with a towel around my neck. And when my mother said to throw out the garbage, I said, I don't do that anymore. And she hit me in the back of the head with the vacuum cleaner pipe. She knocked the ego right out of me. Do you ever push the envelope with your parents and say, I'm not going to throw the garbage out, I'm Chris Ruggiero?
No, I never do that. And, they love seeing me out in the lobby after and seeing me on stage, and it makes them very, very proud. Even my brother, when he comes to the shows, you can see the pride on his face, and it's great. And I never push that envelope with them. The one thing I really don't like is lines. I have this thing about lines. And it's gotten a little worse now. I don't like waiting on lines, but that's because I'm so spoiled with, Delta and going to a theater and there's a ticket under my name and I just go right in, So lines is my only thing.
So chances are you won't be going to Disney anytime soon.
Definitely not.
Now, people said to me, how did you connect with your guests so well? And supposedly my show for the 58 weeks we did it was one of the most watched and one of the most entertaining. And I think it's because I'm a performer first. I'm not a TV host, and so I'm not a football player that became a TV host. So I know what people want to talk about. I know what people want to hear. This pertains to my first gig outside of New York was in a place called Wheeling, West Virginia. Right. And I was billed as, back then I was 15. I was the youngest Elvis impersonator on the East Coast, maybe in the country. But I was billed as the Italian Elvis because people in West Virginia, first of all, they never saw a New Yorker. No. And they never saw an Italian. So we figured, my manager and me, that if we do this Italian Elvis thing, we're going to get the people. And we did. When you play in places like Warren, Ohio, right?
Yes.
Green Bay, Wisconsin, the cheesehead capital of the world. Palo Verde's, California. You're not even doing Los Angeles or Anaheim. You're doing these little, and I'm not going to say rural towns because they're not. They're major cities, but they're not the city like New York.
Yeah, not the city we're used to.
How do you, first of all, how do you prepare for a show outside of a major city?
Well, we'll change the set list a little bit, So in a city like that, where maybe there aren't as many New Yorkers, I won't sing that big New York tune that was a hit in New York and maybe not everywhere else. Or I won't sing that Italian tune because maybe there aren't as many Italian New Yorkers in the crowd. So we kind of tailor the set list for where we go. But I have to say, I think Wheeling has changed quite a bit since you've been there last.
I would say
I'm headed there in about a week.
Are you?
To Wheeling,
Charlie?
October 5th for Charlie. The show, I'm there with Chubby Checker and a couple other groups as well. And Wheeling's a little different. I have to say there are a lot of New Yorkers in Wheeling, and it's got to be my top 3 favorite theaters to go to.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's what theater?
That's the Capitol Theater.
Capitol Theater in Wheeling. First of all, tell Charlie I said hello.
I will.
And I'm going to tell you, when we got off stage, I think I was 15 when I played Wheeling. We were hungry. And, of course, there were no such thing as diners.
No.
So we went to the only place that was open at 1 o'clock in the morning that served food, and it was a strip club. So half the place was food and half was strippers. And I had a stripper walk up to me to dance. And I said, please, I just want to eat. And I handed her back then a 20 or a 50. Well, she got so offended at me that she sent the bouncer over, and I said, this was the easiest 50 she ever made. He goes, she wants a word for it. I go, no, I just want to eat my hamburger. That's all I want. So I don't think I'm allowed in Wheeling, West Virginia anymore.
That's hysterical.
When you play these places, so tell me, there's got to be an air of comfortability when you play the Capitol, when you play Sellersville, when you play Tarrytown, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. What is your feeling? The butterflies in your stomach when you go to these places for the first time. What's going through your mind and your stomach?
Well, when I go for the first time, it's a little scary sometimes if it's a place that I've never been to, of course, because, I don't know how many people there have seen me before at other shows, how many people there really know about me. So I really feel like as soon as I come out on stage, I may have to dig myself out of a ditch a little bit. They may not really be fans yet. Maybe their friend dragged them to come, or they were so bored that night they came, maybe, if they don't know me. And so I feel like sometimes I have to dig myself out of that ditch. But it really seems like every time I go out there and I'm just so lucky. They're clapping and on their feet, and it seems like they do know me, and they did come to see me, and they know exactly what they're seeing. But it usually seems like when I sing a certain song in a place like that, then all of a sudden the skies open up and I have them on my side. And usually that song is Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me. I talk about my prom night, and that's usually my 4th or 5th song into the show. And after I tell them about my prom and I sing Hold Me, Thrill Me, I have them on my side, and for the rest of the night we just have a good time together, and I don't have to worry about winning them over.
Right. Now, people might be polite and give you a round of applause because you're up there working.
Sure.
But I guess you know when you walk out and you see that line of people.
Yeah.
And never mind the people that want to buy merchandise. That goes without saying. The people that just want to take a picture with you, that's got to be even more rewarding than them getting a CD, because maybe they can't afford the CD. Okay.
Sure.
But they want to put you in their memory forever. I think that's one of the greatest compliments of all.
It is. And like you said, I'll stand out there until there's nobody left, or the theater has to close the doors because, they're going overtime.
Right. We're going to show the 2 commercials again.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back for some final remarks.
All right.
And then we got one more clip, which I want everybody to see. So, Anthony, could you please roll the Bayway Arts and the Sellersville Christmas again?
Chris Ruggiero's new show, Teenage Dreams and Magic Moments, is coming to East Islip for one show only, September 28th. Breathing new life into the timeless hits of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Your favorites as you've never heard them before in this all-new show, September 28th at Bayway Arts Center. For tickets, call 631-581-2700 or visit baywayartscenter.com.
Just hear those sleigh
Chris Ruggiero's Christmas show captures all the magic of the most wonderful time of the year.
It's the most.
And on December 8th, he'll be performing his Christmas spectacular at Sellersville Theater, singing all the songs you know and love.
Nuts roasting on an open fire.
For tickets, visit ChrisRuggieroSings.com or call 215-257-5808.
Special Christmas.
So once again, we're going to talk about Saturday, September 28th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the Bayway Arts Center in East Islip, New York. Then on Sunday, September 29th at 3 p.m., the Colonial in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Those tickets available on ChrisRuggieroSings.com. Then in December 6th at Adelphi University, Garden City with Emil Stucco and the Classics. December 7th at QPAC, Queensboro Performing Arts Center in Bayside, New York, Queens. Again with Emil Stucco and the Classics. December 8th, Chris's 5th time as a charm, Sellersville, Pennsylvania, the Sellersville Theater. And then Thursday, December 12th, how do I remember this stuff? The Egg in Albany. All shows on ChrisRuggieroSings.com.
Yes, that was really good, Gene.
From memory.
That was great. I could never do that.
If I knew I had a memory like this, I would have became a plastic surgeon. Chris, I got to tell you something, which leads us to our last clip, which should be the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I have a pet peeve, and my pet peeve is men singing women's songs and women singing men's songs.
Uh-oh.
When I promote a show and I put a girl group on the show and they want to do men's songs, I go, no. If I wanted to hear that, I would have got the guy that did it. You just recently added a song in your show, which I heard vaguely because I listen to Sirius and I listen to my iPod and I don't listen to mainstream radio. You took a song and you spun it. And man, you spun it like it was a dreidel and a top, and you knocked it out of the park and you won me over. And you end your shows with this, and it's a great philosophy of life. And I think that's the last clip we have. So Anthony, please, God almighty, let it be the last one. Play it and we'll talk about it.
All right.
Keep falling in and out.
So it wasn't the song I thought of.
No, that's a good song. That was a good song.
What?
I said that's a good song too, but
It's a great song and it worked because those were done by females.
That's right.
And Ross and the Supremes. And you did a spin on that, right? But you end your shows now with a song called I Hope You Dance.
Yes.
Tell me why. I mean, there are millions of guy songs that could kind of say the same thing. What drew you to that song?
Yeah, well, it's a song that it's a little newer, of course, than most of the stuff I do. And it's a song that really everybody knows. And I think it really has from what we've seen now with the audience, that it really has a special meaning to everyone. And it's an inspirational song, and I really like to leave the audience feeling good, feeling fun, feeling like they came out tonight and they got that dose of whatever it was that they needed, the medicine through the music. And I feel like this song says it really better than any other song. I mean, I hope you dance. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. I hope you dance. And the lyrics are really, really great and moving. And actually, the arrangement was brought to us by our friend Norman Bergen. You might have. Did you meet Norman?
No.
So Norman arranged songs for Tony Orlando, and he did a bunch of other arrangements over the years. So Norman actually arranged this song for us. The arrangement is all his. He did such a good job, and it is so much different from the original.
Yeah.
It really seems to get everyone on their feet after the show. It starts
Chris, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt. My producer, Anthony, just told me something very great. We have that song.
Well, let's watch it.
Let's watch it. Hit it, Anthony. Great song.
It came out pretty good.
I'd say so. I'd say everybody walks out of that theater really uplifted.
Yes,
Really.
sure. You can see them dancing up the aisle as they're, headed out, and it seems to really work, and we like that. So that's our new closer.
Will you be releasing that at some point?
Maybe at some point, yeah.
Okay.
I guess we'll find out.
Closing remark, Chris. What brings you the most joy?
Being on stage. I mean, just like I said before, knowing that the audience was taken back to a different place in their life, and knowing that they got whatever it was that they came, whatever they needed to fill their heart, and the stories that I hear after the shows are just things that I never thought I'd hear in my life, and it really makes me realize how blessed I was to have grown up in New York in a really loving family with so many family and friends around, and really the perfect childhood. Because what I realized about traveling and meeting people is not everybody had that.
No.
And so I like to spread whatever great things I had and try and give it to those people who didn't have what I had. And I think that's what we're doing, and it really fills my heart to do that, and I know it fills theirs too. And for me, that's what it's all about.
Through music.
Yeah.
Universal language.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a performer, there's only one way I know we could say goodbye to the people's entertainer, Chris Ruggiero, and that's with a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Ruggiero.
Thank you, Gene. Thanks for having me. I guess we'll see you this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. And I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
See you, Chris. Tell everybody to sit along.
Good night. I sure will.
Good night, pal. Wow. What a great young man. My pleasure to be his promoter, his interviewer, and I think I'm his friend as well, along with Joe Marioni. Probably the greatest manager other than Colonel Tom Parker, but I'm prejudiced. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we do, go to my website, DiNapoli.com. You can see we have 20 different shows, from Chris Ruggiero to doo-wop to country to comedy to disco to tribute groups like Meatloaf, Pink Floyd, Rush, Queen. We got them in states, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. And if we can bring a show to your area and you know of a theater, please don't hesitate to go to DiNapoli.com. Send me a message. Follow me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube under Gene DiNapoli. Want to thank Anthony, my producer, for coming out of retirement. He's a college student, and he took a lot of time out to do this for me. Thank you, Anthony. Want to thank Joe Marioni for once again being the liaison and the perfect manager he is and friend. We'll see you Saturday, East Islip, BaywayArtCenter.com for Chris Ruggiero, Saturday, September 28th, 2 p.m. And we will see you Sunday, Pittsfield, Massachusetts at the Colonial. Check everything out at ChrisRuggieroSings.com. This is Gene D signing off saying, don't wait for change. Be the change. God bless you, and God bless America.